Hi everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered if there are certain ways to relax that actually change your mind and body? And if some people are just naturally better at experiencing those changes? Well, this new study might have some fascinating answers. It turns out that how we experience relaxation and altered states of mind isn't just about what we do, but also about who we are as people. This study looked at 3 different ways to relax and explored how our personality, specifically something called trait absorption, plays a role in how deeply we experience these states. So what exactly are these altered states of consciousness, or ACCs? Think of them as temporary shifts from your everyday normal way of thinking and perceiving. They can be like those moments when time seems to speed up or slow down, when your sense of your own body feels different, or when your emotions really shift. These aren't necessarily weird or scariances. They're just different ways of being that usually don't last long. People can experience them through things like meditation, hypnosis, or even sensory deprivation. This study focused on something called restricted environmental stimulation techniques, or REST. Basically, REST means turning down the volume on the outside world. When you reduce the sights, sounds, and other sensory input, your attention tends to turn inward. It's like giving your brain a break from all the usual distractions, which can naturally lead to relaxation, and sometimes these altered states we talked about. The researchers tested 3 specific methods that fit under this REST umbrella. First, they had a guided meditation. This is pretty familiar to most of us, focusing your attention, often on your breath or body sensations, with the help of a recorded voice. Second, they used something called the Multimodal Ganzfeld, or MMGF. Now, this might sound a bit technical, but imagine putting on special goggles that show you a completely uniform, often soft-colored light with no distinct shapes or patterns. You also hear a steady, constant sound like white noise. The idea is to overwhelm your senses with sameness, so your brain has nothing much to latch onto from the outside world. Again, encouraging an inward focus. And third, they had a control condition. This was simply having participants lie down on a mat in a room with dim light, just relaxing without falling asleep. It's like a baseline to compare the other 2 methods against. So how did they test this? They gathered 48 people who didn't have much meditation experience to keep things fair. Each person went through all 3 relaxation methods for about 25 minutes each, and they did these sessions over separate days to avoid any interference. The order of these sessions was mixed up for each participant so that the order itself didn't influence the results. Before they started any of the relaxation sessions, everyone took a personality test called the Intelligent Absorption Scale, or TAs. This scale measures how easily someone gets deeply absorbed in experiences like getting lost in a good book or movie, or completely focusing on a piece of music. This trait absorption is what they suspected might be a key predictor of how people react to the relaxation methods. After each of the 3 relaxation sessions, participants filled out a bunch of questionnaires. They rated their emotions, how pleasant or unpleasant, and how aroused or calm they felt. They also answered questions about their perception of time, how fast or slow it seemed to pass, and how much they thought about time. And importantly, they rated how much they felt their body boundaries, like whether their body felt clearly defined and separate from the world, or more permeable and connected. Now, for the interesting results, first they looked at how the 3 methods compared to each other on their own. They found that the guided meditation actually led to significantly lower arousal levels, meaning people felt more relaxed and calm compared to both the control resting condition and the Ganzfeld experience. Another big finding was about thoughts concerning time. During the guided meditation, participants reported thinking significantly less about time compared to the other 2 conditions. The researchers suggest this might be because the spoken meditation instructions kept their minds occupied and focused, reducing the chance for random thoughts about time to pop up. Similar to how repeating a mantra can do the same thing. Interestingly, there was a trend suggesting that time felt like it passed the fastest during the meditation session. While this wasn't always statistically significant after adjusting for all the tests they did, it is a subtle hint that meditation can alter our sense of time. Now, surprisingly, they didn't find significant differences in how people perceive their body boundaries across the 3 conditions. This is something they expected might change, especially with the Ganzfeld or meditation, but the overall average didn't show a clear difference. Then, they looked at the relationships between different experiences within each condition. In the simple control resting condition, they found that when people felt more pleasure, they also felt less aroused, thought less about time, and perceived time as passing faster. It seems like the classic saying, "Time flies when you are having fun," holds true, even in a simple resting state. More arousal, on the other hand, was linked to thinking more about time and time slowing down, which makes sense. The Ganzfeld condition showed some similar patterns, but with a twist. Here, positive feelings were linked to less arousal, faster time passage, and interestingly, a reduced sense of body boundaries. This is a key finding in the Ganzfeld. It seems that feeling good and relaxed directly connected with feeling less distinctly you, and more connected to your surroundings, or perhaps experiencing a less defined sense of your own body. They also noted that body boundaries were more often linked to other experiences in the Ganzfeld than in the control condition. The meditation condition, however, showed a less connected pattern. The only notable correlation was that if people felt more aroused, which is a bit counterintuitive for meditation, but can happen if they're just more alert, they also felt their body boundaries more strongly. This is the opposite of what they saw in the Ganzfeld. Now, let's get to the star player, trait absorption. This is where individual differences really came into play. When they looked at how trait absorption, measured by the TA scale, related to the experiences, they found something quite significant. In the simple control resting condition, people who scored higher on the absorption scale reported a diminished sense of their body boundaries. So, even in a basic relaxation setting, those who are more prone to absorbing experiences were more likely to have a less defined sense of their own physical self. This effect was even stronger in the Ganzfeld condition. Higher trait absorption was significantly linked to a decrease in the perceived body boundaries. This suggests that people who readily get absorbed are more susceptible to experiencing this common feature of altered states. The blurring of where your body ends and the rest of the world begins when their senses are deliberately made uniform. In the meditation condition, the link between trait absorption and body boundaries wasn't significant after accounting for multiple comparisons. However, there were some non-significant trends suggesting that higher absorption might be linked to more positive feelings and fewer thoughts about time in meditation. So, what does this all mean? The study highlights that different relaxation methods have distinct effects. Meditation seems particularly good at reducing mental chatter and arousal. The Ganzfeld, with its uniform stimulation, seems to more readily connect positive emotions with a diminished sense of body boundaries. And the control condition shows that even simple rest can lead to time perception changes when we feel good. The most exciting part is the role of trait absorption. It seems like being someone who easily gets absorbed in experiences makes you more likely to experience changes in your sense of self, like a blurring of body boundaries, not just in specialized therapies, but even in a simple relaxation setting or the unique immersive environment of the Ganzfeld. This suggests that our personality isn't just about how we interact with the world normally, but also how we respond to conditions that alter our usual way of perceiving things. Now, like all research, this study has its limitations. The researchers point out that because they used people without extensive meditation experience, they had to use a guided meditation, which actually involved listening to someone speaking, thus not being a pure form of restricted environmental stimulation. The Ganzfeld might have also been a bit too unusual for some people experiencing it for the first time. They suggest that in the future, a practice session to get used to the Ganzfeld setup could be helpful. Overall, this research gives us a clearer picture of how different relaxation techniques work and how our individual personalities influence those experiences. It tells us that while some effects, like reduced arousal from meditation, are present, our personal ability to get absorbed in experiences is a significant factor in how altered our states of consciousness can become, especially in terms of our sense of self and body boundaries. It is a great reminder that understanding ourselves, including our unique tendencies, can help us understand how we experience the world and even how we relax and potentially change our own minds. What do you all think? Have you ever experienced a strong sense of losing your body boundaries or time melting away during a particularly relaxing or immersive experience? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more deep dives into the science of the mind. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.